Knitters, this is Debbie J, and I am showing you how I connect my Hexapuffs for the Beekeeper's Quilt by TinyOwlKnits. I have decided that I like doing them with crochet because it keeps things floppy even when you have a bunch connected together. This patch is about 50 connected together. So it still feels like a blanket, but at the same time it closes everything off. And also I love the little ridge that forms. So the way that you do this is first by doing a round of single crochet around the whole outside of each and every Hexapuff. So it's not the fastest way to do it, but I think it looks great. So the first thing is you have your plain Hexapuff and you need to do single crochet all the way around it. So I have Hexapuff yarn to connect. I use a nice metal double point because the Hexapuffs are knit to a pretty tight gauge. And it's hard to get my crochet hook in there. This is a US F5, so it's a 3.75 millimeter. So you can see that kind of going up the side of the Hexapuff there are some V's. And the V's are the two lines of stitches, which are either bordered by the increases or comprise the decreases. So this is the front of my Hexapuff, so you can see the front of the bind off right up at the top, and it's right side up. So I always start right here, and I pick up the frontmost set of V's, but I pick up the back side of them. Alright, so that's always my first stitch that I pick up. Alright, so you put your crochet hook in, bring the yarn around, draw it up, draw it up. Alright, so now it's joined. Now the way that I have been doing this so that you don't have to tuck that end in is I kind of overcast it. Alright, so pick up the next stitch, it's a little harder to do with the camera in the way, but it's actually not as time consuming as it seems once you get the hang of it. Alright, so you can see that I've started kind of creating a little ridge right there, and I've worked all the way up the side and I've gone into each one of the V's. And when you get to the top, again you're going to carry on pretending as though this is that section of V's. So that means that I'm going to pick up this right here, and you can see that my tail was a little long this time, so I'm still overcasting it. Alright, and I'm going to pick up each of these bound off stitches across the top. Alright, so now I'm all the way across the top, and this, on this side, is where I tucked in the yarn from the bind off. You can see it right there. So I usually go ahead and pick up kind of a bigger chunk. Usually I get 3 loops for that first stitch because it helps me, I don't know, I feel like it's going to be more secure in the finished piece. And then in the second I get those 2. There we go. And then from here I'm just going to start picking up just this, then just this, then just this, and I'm going to work all the way down to the bottom. Now that's 4 sides, so now it's time to do the bottom, the cast on edge, and there are kind of little loops down here, and I just go into the loops. Alright, that was the first one, here's the next one, and the next one is right there. Alright, so that's all 5 done. Now it's just this last run up to where we started, and actually this can be a little tricky. I don't know why, and maybe it'll be fine on yours, maybe it's just how I knit the Hexapuffs, but it feels like the first couple of stitches that you pick up after you turn that corner can be a little tight. But they are the same stitches that we've been picking up the whole time. that is. They're of the two V's that run up the side, they're the frontmost one. The frontmost V, but then it's the edge of the V that's toward the side. And I'm not super precious about how many stitches I pick up on each side, and you know, the Hexapuffs have sort of some variation depending on if I, you know, accidentally did a single crochet into a stitch that I didn't normally, or if I accidentally missed one, or what have you. But they're very easy to, it's easy to ease them into shape once you get to the point where you're connecting them. Alright, so that's the last one. So I've single crocheted into that last pickup. Alright, and then now to finish it off, you go into that first stitch, you just slip stitch, and cut the yarn, leaving yourself a little tail, pull it up through, and then I turn over and push the crochet hook up through so that it pops up right here, grab that tail and pull it to the inside. I've gone through a corner on each of them, and I've got my yarn, and I just draw that up in a single crochet, go into the next stitch on each one, bring that tail over, and come up in single crochet. Again, I'm just kind of overcasting the tail so I don't have to deal with it later. Alright, so you can see that is connected all the way around the corner. It's nice and sturdy. And now I'm going to connect one to the top here, and I'll do this one. As you do it, you'll see that it's easy to you know, if you're not connecting the same number of single crochets with the same number of single crochets, it's easy to kind of ease it so that it actually still looks straight. Alright, so you can see that this is fully connected. Alright, so now we're connected in two places, although this is still open. And I'm kind of encircling this blue puff. This is sort of my center puff at the moment. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the next 4 around the edge. Let's see, I have all 7 of these guys connected, and my yarn is right here. So now I'm going to connect these 2 to each other. Now you can either, I'm going to put 2 more on, and they can either start to cover the, 3 more, and they can either start to go this way and work around the pink, or they can go this way and work around that light blue. And that'll become the new sort of center as the way this was the center. The pink has 6 guys all the way around it, but this seam is still open. So this is why I connect them in groups of 10, because I'm going to close this seam between the oatmeal colored one and the pink one. That'll bring my yarn right here, and then there won't be any loose tails floating around, because I'll show you how to hide it. Alright, so that seam is all closed up now, and I've got my yarn right here. So then now what I do is just go into sort of the closest single crochet that's popped up there, and slip stitch, cut the yarn, leaving a bit of a tail, pull that through, and then I come around to this side, because see that it wants to kind of go that way. Work my crochet hook up through and pull it in to hide it. Right, and then you have a set of 10. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. You can get in touch with me through my website, wjknits.com, or I'm WJ on Ravelry. Good luck!